When we walk into the shared fantasy, it doesn't begin with awareness. It starts with confusion. Something is off, but we can't place it. The uncanny ground feels unsteady. We're locked into survival mode already, contorting ourselves to maintain connection. So we chase their approval. We accept their attention, believing that love means sacrifice. But this is not love. It's the first fracture. And the more we try to fix it, the deeper we go. We tell ourselves stories to make sense of the pain. They're wounded, it's just stress. I can love them better. The Redeemer within us awakens. The ego state that believes it can earn safety through service. So we animate our false self to survive. Idealisation is intoxicating. We feel seen, euphoric, but not as we are. The gaze is cold empathy, a scan, not a connection. What they see in us is what they want to extract. We begin to fracture further. The shared fantasy begins to own us. Our true self becomes silent. By the time the discard comes, it is not just rejection, it is annihilation. We do not merely grieve the person, we grieve the version of ourselves that was sustained by their gaze. We fall into recursive loops of shame, longing, rage. The narcissist voice becomes internal. You're nothing without me. Rumination starts. The thoughts loop uncontrollably. We're caught in a trauma bond with no external contact. Flashbacks are somatic, not just mental, because the body keeps the score, but the soul keeps count. Sleep is fractured, days blurred, the mind cycles through anger, bargaining, denial. Recursive abuse demands recursive grieving. We reach the void. There's no fantasy left to uphold. The Redeemer collapses, the false self fractures, the child self is mute. We sit in silence and grief, not knowing who we were or who we are. This is symbolic death, ego annihilation, not by accident, but by starvation of fantasy. Deprogramming must now begin, and education saves us. The work of Vaknin, Fairbairn, Kernberg becomes more than theory, it becomes scaffolding. We begin to name what was done to us. Introjects are revealed, cold empathy decoded, and we realise this was never a relationship. It was a simulation of one. Eventually, we find the anchor, the safe gaze, a friend, a therapist, a quiet witness, someone who sees our pain without rushing to fix it. The presence alone is transformative. For a moment, we stop scanning. We begin to weep. It is the first true connection since the collapse. But there is still recursive grieving to do. For each internal part must speak. The Redeemer must weep. The false self must step down. The mute child must be heard. We go through grief cycles for each one. This is not linear. We cry, then rage, then deny, and loop again. The wool is untangled, the patterns laid bare. Now we must look at the truth on our object relations. We realise the narcissist is no longer here, but we have internalized them. The real work begins. We must map our object relations. Who lives inside of us? What voices dominate? Which beliefs remain unchallenged? It is a forensic reconstruction of the psyche. The Redeemer is tired. We must thank it and retire it. It kept us alive in the fantasy, but it cannot come with us now. We reclaim authorship. We begin to say no. We no longer need to prove our goodness to be love. Redemption is survival, not sacrifice. So we need to get the brain creatively thinking again. Get that right brain woken up and get it connected with the left hemisphere. So now we write, we draw, we speak, we reparent the parts within us. We tell them that they are safe, they are real, they are loved. We create routine. We check in with ourselves, with others. We reclaim small joys. The symbolic truth self begins to emerge. We are not healed. We are awakening. The world is still dangerous, but we are no longer naive. We trust slowly. We question projections. We stay single. We reflect. Love may return, but we are no longer governed by the fantasy. We live from the vertical axis now, the seat of truth. The truth doesn't need to shout, it whispers, I'm still here. We are no longer waiting to be chosen. We are choosing. We are not seeking redemption. We are anchoring meaning. We are not escaping pain. We are metabolizing it, finally, symbolically, fully. The true self emerges quietly, not as a performance or a proclamation, but as a steady presence. It has always been there, behind the noise, behind the Redeemer, behind the collapse. This part of us does not seek approval. It does not chase repair. It writes. It speaks gently. It observes. It is here to reclaim, not retaliate. This is where creativity becomes survival, where compassion meets clarity, where we say, I love you. I got you. You're safe now. We're no longer fractured across time. We are present. We witness ourselves. And in doing so, we finally feel real. This is not a happy ending. It is a clear one. We have survived symbolic death. We are not the same. We do not rush back into love. We do not rush anywhere. We tread lightly. We reflect. We test our patterns. We pause before trusting. We honour our solitude. The risk of re entering a toxic bond is real, not because we tracked abusers, but because they exist. We now know how to see. We listen to our bodies. We do not override our intuition. If love finds us, it will not demand our abandonment. If it doesn't, we will stay alive. We do not need to be chosen to be whole. We are no longer rescuing. We are no longer recreating. We are no longer addicted to near death. We are alive, and that is more than enough. Peace out. Loads and loads of love.